Hey, what's cracking everybody? Welcome back to Computer Games Hardware. How's it going? How are you guys? You doing all right? It's been a pretty weird start to the year. I know people are feeling a bit out of place. Emotions are high and everything. So we're going to do something a little bit fun today, all right? We're not going to worry about CES and what AMD and NVIDIA are announcing or not announcing or any of that stuff. We're not going to worry about what's going on with the world. We're going to do something fun, all right? So today we are going to play Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater in VR. That's right, I got a program to show you guys that can inject VR controls into your third-person Unreal Engine 5 games. So let's have a bit of fun. But before we do, I got a couple of things to announce. I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, but we've got some new shirts. So do they look good? What do you think? I've been pretty proud of myself. I do apologize if you catch me looking at the screen and not at you guys at the camera, because I'm just very proud of our Computer Games Hardware new t-shirts. You can buy these right now. If you want to support the channel and support me, you can get one of these shirts. These are the Computer Games Hardware crew t-shirts. So this is what we wear when we're doing our thing at Computer Games Hardware now. And we've got a couple of different things. We're announcing the launch of the Computer Games Hardware store. So that's Computer Games Hardware at myshopify.com. You can get all your stuff there, but you can also check out the whole range right in the YouTube channel. So the store is connected right into these videos. So any of the new videos we release, you can check out our new t-shirts and get your hands on a couple of them. There's a couple of different types. We've got the Computer Games Hardware crew shirt. We've also got the hero logo, which is the Computer Games Hardware. I don't know if you guys ever put that together, but that's what that's for. So you can get a big one across. And we're going to, throw in a couple of meme shirts. I'm creating them all. I'm designing them all. So I did one that's hasta lasagna, don't get any onion. That's our first sort of cool shirt, but I'm going to come up with a whole bunch of techie, cool movie stuff. You guys know what I'm like and what my tastes are. So if you want to support the channel, just remember, it's just me making, producing, filming all the videos. I don't have an editor or anything like that. So if you want to support me and get yourself a t-shirt, check them out in the link in the description below. You'll be able to see all the t-shirts in the video. So this one's sponsored by me and Pimax. Big thank you to Pimax for supporting Computer Games Hardware. We're going to use our Crystal Light today to play Metal Gear Solid Delta in VR. So I'm really excited for this. But if you want to get yourself a t-shirt, guys, check it out. Thanks for watching, everybody. All right, let's stop playing around. Let's get into desktop mode so I can show you how this all works. Okay, guys, first things first, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to download the UEVR program. This is from PreyDog's GitHub repository, so big shout out to those guys for sorting that out. It is what you use to inject your games with the VR solution. So it is very cool. Then we're going to Nexus Mods to get a VR mod for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. It's a config file that configs Snake Eater to make it usable with UEVR. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that now, and I'm going to leave all the links in the descriptions and everything. Sorry if I keep looking at the shirt. It's just it's the first time I'm wearing it on camera, so I'm pretty happy with it. So check those out if you want to get them. That's computergameshardware.myshopify.com. You can get yourself a t-shirt. Anyway, okay. So first things first, let's go to PreyDog's UEVR GitHub repository, and what you want to do is you want to go right down to the nightly release. So click on the nightly release. I'll leave a link in the description below, and that's what you want to get. So the stable release works with heaps of games, and you can just look up on GitHub what games are supported. But for Metal Gear Solid Delta, you do need the nightly version, which is the beta version. Okay, and it works fine. I've played around with it. I haven't had any real issues. It's just you have to play around to get it right. Okay, all right. So once you've downloaded that, just go right down to the UEVR zip, download that, and then what you want to do is head over to Nexus Mods, and you want to download the Metal Gear Solid Delta VR mod. Okay, so let's have a look at that there. So this one's created by Holy DH. So big shout out to you, homie. So you can just download it there. I've already downloaded there on my desktop, ready to go. So this is the 6 DOF motion controls for Metal Gear Solid Delta. So this is a UEVR plugin. So we need that for it to work properly. Okay, so we're going to play around with that now, download that as well, and I've got mine here right on my desktop. So the first thing we're going to do is extract UEVR. So let's do that. I prefer 7-zip, so I'm going to do all that nonsense, and I have a little place where I put them. So I've got a game drive here, go into games, and I've got game utilities. So this is a bit of a mod manager. So let's go into mod managers, and we'll create a new folder, UEVR. Cool. Let's go. It's going in there. All right. And then we want to also extract our config file for Metal Gear Solid Delta as well. So same thing again, we're just going to extract it. So extract that, and I'm going to put it in the same place. I've got a little like mod folder. So let's go into the game drive again, go into games, and then mod managers, and I've got a little mods folder, and I already set up a MSG Delta mod folder. So we're going to extract that there, and let's just go and see what that looks like. All right, so go into our game drive, into our games, bit of click through here. So you can see we've got UEVR there. That's what it looks like. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take it out of that folder and put it in there. We don't need to. All right, so we've got the injector there, and I am also going to send it to the desktop as well. So let's do that as well. The amount of clicks that you have to do in Windows now is just nothing short of infuriating. So I'm just going to leave that up there, and then we'll go into mods. Metal Gear Solid Delta. I've also got one for Final Fantasy 16. I couldn't stand how slow, what's his name? Clive, was it? Ran. So I had to get that sorted. All right. So we've got our mod here, and that's extracted. Again, I'm just going to put this one in the main folder and get rid of that because we don't need that, because that's what we need. We need this zip file here. Okay, so you don't have to extract that again. That's the one we're going to use. Okay, all right, perfect. Now what you want to do is make sure you are set up in your VR. So I'm using the Crystal Light. If you haven't seen my setup guide to the Pimax Crystal Light, you can go check that out. That'll be really helpful for you if you're just starting out with VR. If you know what you're doing, happy days. Let's get stuck into it. Now what we have to do is let's open UEVR, just show you what it looks like. So we'll hide that a little bit. This is UEVR. Right, and it injects config files into it. It seems to be already set up the way we want it. So it's not for Metal Gear Solid Delta, you have to have OpenXR. So click on OpenXR if it's not already on XR. And I should also say just follow the directions on the mod page. So it's got a whole list of directions, but we'll run through it together. So let's have a look at that. What you want to do first is you want to import your config file. So let's go into that, and that's in app data, so we don't want it there. We actually want to go to the folder, and we want to go to the mod, MSG Delta, and we want to open that up. Okay, so we're loading in the config file. It's talking about the risks for the DLLs and stuff like that. Click yes. All right, and that will happen. You can close that. Happy days. Next, what we want to do is boot up Metal Gear Solid Delta. Okay, so I'm going to boot up Metal Gear Solid Delta. Apologies about if there's any weirdness when it loads up, because it's one of those games that with a 3-monitor setup can be weird sometimes. So just expect some weirdness. I'll just play around as we go, but I'm going to boot that up now. Let's see how we go. So what you want to do is you want to wait until it gets into at least the menu, even better the game. Okay, so I'll show you now. Wait for it to go into the menu. You also want to disable frame gen if you've got frame gen running on Metal Gear Solid. They also highly recommend you run it on the lowest reasonable specs that you can. So I've got it running at 1080p. As you can see, there's a bit of weirdness. Okay, so we've done that, and Snake Eater is always being weird with 3 monitor setup, so I will sort that out shortly. So let's get into it. All right, we're in the menus now, and now what we have to do is we have to tab out into UEVR, right? And what we want to do is we want to get that MSG Delta Win64 shipping. That is the config file, and we've injected it. Okay, so that is in the game now. Now what we want to do is head over into our Pimax Crystal Light because we are cooking with gas. Hey, just want to jump in here, guys, and say a big thank you to Pimax for supporting computer games hardware. Pimax has a huge New Year's sale where you can get $80 off your Pimax Crystal Light, your Crystal Super QLED. Huge savings to be had, but the offer ends quick at the end of January 31st. So you can use my code CGHW80 to get $80 off all those products. So get in quick, guys. That's a good one. All right, we are in Metal Gear Solid Delta in the VR mod. So this feels really weird. Look at Snake's hands there. That is incredible. So one thing I did do, I turned the settings down to 1080p. I turned off frame generation, and I also put the modern UI on the game, so it has it all at the bottom, so you don't have to look in the corners and everything for all your UI. It's there. Now, one thing that you do have to know is if you want to switch items and weapons, you have to hold it up to your hand, and then you have to press the controller in either direction, the D-pad in either direction to which, so it's the left for your items and it's right for your weapon. So let's stick with our guns. We've got our compass there. Let's do it. If you ever want to get into the menus, it's just the analog sticks. It's a down press on the on both of the analog sticks, so you can do that, and it comes up. Now, something's gone wrong here where my UEVR menu hasn't come up, but the Metal Gear Solid Delta plugin has. So all I wanted to do was enable smooth camera rotation, so we've done that. So I'm pretty happy with that so far. So you can see I got my gun there, I got my knife there. Let's test it out. Let's see what's shoot. So that's shoot. Okay. So X is punch. A is crouch. So you can do the 3 crouches. RB is switch view. Oh. That is incredible. Look how amazing it looks. This is running at 1080p. So this is a pretty intense game to run as it is. So you might have some issues with that, but this feels incredible. Welcome back. We are commencing Operation Snake Eater now. So we've done a few tweaks. I'll show you what we've done. All right. So we were crashing, and it was actually because of the motion. It was because of the screen recording more than anything. So I'll show you. I actually had to change to my smallest screen and go in borderless window. So I'm running it at 1080p with FSR doing the upscaling for me. But as I said, it's looking pretty good at the moment. Guys, I was having so much fun with this that I actually forgot to speak through the playthrough. So look at this. You can do absolutely everything. Pick up the rations. You can, capture all the animals. It's fantastic. Everything feels completely natural, how you would expect it to work in VR. You can change your camo. You can get into the menus accessibly really easy. It's very intuitive. This is an amazing application. and an amazing configuration for Metal Gear Solid Delta. In fact, I prefer this over the multiplayer. I want Konami to actually support this or implement it in the next Metal Gear game. That's what they should do to really get people interested. Look at this. Look how good it looks. And this is not killing the GPU. Pimax is doing the heavy lifting with the crystal light. Have a look at this view. I've been playing this game for 25 years and I've never seen it in that sort of point of view before. I was having such a good time beating up on these soldiers. You can still go and play it stealthy. I was having a bit of fun with all my weapons and just letting loose a little bit. But you can really play through this game from start to finish. And I think I'm going to. It is so much fun. And it looks incredible. This is a pretty demanding game as well. So putting it down at 1080p using FSR, it helps having a crystal light, Pimax powering it, and the 6800 XT is holding its weight too. So this was an incredible experience. Look at me lay waste to the soldiers here. It is so much fun. I was very impressed. UEVR is an amazing application, and this VR mod is a real experience. It's worth playing through from start to end. I was amazed about how well it worked. Alright, so that was pretty impressive, guys. I had a really good time in Metal Gear Solid Delta in VR. That was crazy. I think that's as good as the multiplayer Fox Hunt is. So I wish that Konami would actually develop that a little bit and give some props to the developers of those VR mods and get it happening in-game. It's actually really impressive, and you can see how good a Metal Gear Solid game in VR would be. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below if you thought that was a cool sort of tech demonstration. That is a pretty cool project to keep your eye on and see developing. Are there any games that you think that should be in VR? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to get a t-shirt. Have a look at the t-shirt, support the channel that way. Get yourself a cool looking t-shirt. You can see them at computergameshardware.myshopify.com. So get into the store and get yourself a cool looking t-shirt. We've got a whole bunch of colors, we've got a whole bunch of range, and there's more to come. So stick around on that on Computer Games Hardware. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I've had a really good time making this one. I hope you guys have had a good time watching it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.